Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear Leak Project. How the heck are you? What are you doing to prepare for the end of the world as we know it? I've got Robert Vicino from Terra Vivos in South Dakota X Point. I have to hit the mute button here. Otherwise, you're going to get some echo. So stand by. Here we go. All right. Literally on scene, South Dakota right now. We have an opportunity to speak with Robert. I would say he's somewhat of an expert in survival situations and preparing for cataclysms, cataclysmic events. Now, recently, I shared with you an article where Roger Billum and Rebecca Bendick, they're both from the University of Colorado, the University of Montana, and they said back in 2011, the Earth slowed down. Now, even though it was just a little bit, the amount of events that we might see around this time frame are quite severe. And I think that there's a lot of birthing pains right now that are showing that after 5 to 6 years after the Earth slows down a little bit, we could be headed for major earthquakes. And we've already seen major hurricanes this year. So who knows what the world will bring to us here next month, next week, tomorrow. But it's always good, in my opinion, to have somewhat of a plan B. So we're going to talk to Robert and see what's going on out there in South Dakota. Robert, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. Sitting up here on top of a mountain, overlooking, 800 or so bunkers. The sun is setting. I just had to put up a shield to cover my eyes from the sun. Temperature, it's winter here in South Dakota, you know, and the temperature is about 70, 75 degrees, clear blue, no wind, zero wind. It's like super comfortable. And yet it was freezing just a few days ago. So I got here on Friday night and the weather changed. It's amazing. Every time I come here, the weather gets nice. So I'll be here for about a week.
It ain't cold when I went out there. Remember that? Yeah, really. I was like, man.
You know, it's you, Rex. It's not the weather. So anyway, so I'm sitting up here. It's really kind of enjoyable, and you're on my visor, believe it or not, through an Android phone. We got the technology, man. We're hooked up. So it's pretty cool to sit up here. The reason I'm on top of the hill is the phone cell reception's better up here. So I feel like Woody Harrelson in that final shot. You know, I'm reporting from Yellowstone. It's amazing. If you could only be here to watch it. Anyways, so if during this conversation anything happens over there in Texas or wherever else your audience may be, just let it be known that I'm here and I'm safe and you're not.
Ha. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I was actually doing some research, and literally a month after the Hurricane Harvey devastated Houston, there was still 60,000 people with nowhere to go. 60,000. 136,000 houses were damaged and structures damaged from that one hurricane. And then I just typed in Puerto Rico power update, and 3.4 million residents approximately without power. 3 out of 4 residents still don't have power. No, I'm sorry. 4 out of 5 Puerto Ricans are still without power. Business Insider. I looked up Hurricane Katrina. 400,000 people were misplaced from Hurricane Katrina. And it's a bad idea to be prepared. You're a conspiracy theorist if you're thinking about preparing for a cataclysmic event. You know, I mean, how dare you do that? But definitely have insurance for everything else, but don't have a survival plan, because that makes you a conspiracy theorist.
Well, also, they don't want you to survive. You know, there are those that are powers that be that want the population to be thinned, you know, and they're not making any secret of it. You know, Ted Turner said 300,000 or 300 million people would be the right balance for the planet. Others have said 500 million. So, you know, who knows? There is going to be a cleansing process. You know, as the Earth has done before, for whatever reason, we're going to go through another cycle here. And many believe that's going to happen soon.
What do you believe?
I believe it is. I've believed since 1982 when I got an inspiration that I needed to build shelters for thousands of people to survive a upcoming extinction level event. And that was what, 35 years ago or something. So I was given this inspiration and I guess the burden to do it. And I've now done it. And, you know, those people you mentioned down in Puerto Rico or even still in Houston, we can accommodate about 10 to 12,000 of those people right here, right now. Okay. Each bunker is not built out, but each bunker is sitting here and available. So, but they're gradually getting built out. And that's why I'm up here, in fact. But I'm here with several producers. We're doing several documentaries at the same time. One for, I don't even want to tell you the network yet, but another for Swiss television, another for the #1 show in Germany, and so on. So, you know, every time I come here, we have a backlog of media that have been begging to get a tour and have an opportunity to interview and so on. So, in fact, this is the first break I've had to get away from them. They tend to be a little bit monopolizing of your time. In fact, this is about the 10th day of filming, maybe the 11th or 12th. They started back in early October. So, you know, it's all good, but I'm not in the documentary business and nor the television or the movie business. I'm in the build shelter business, and I don't mind them tagging along and being on my shoulder. Just don't delay the process, if you will.
You know, also, I mean, you talk to people from all over the world, Robert. So what is the mindset like in Germany and, you know, people you talk to from Switzerland, et cetera? I think you had some people last time I was out there at the X Fest event that were from Japan, and they seemed very intelligent and they knew what they were talking about as well.
It's global at this point. You know, just a couple of days ago, I had a guy begging from China to come to China and build a massive, you know, Vivos complex. We are in the midst of building one in South Korea, at the tip of South Korea. We have Germany. The Germans are very concerned right now. You know, the Japanese are. We had a film crew here about 3 or 4 weeks ago from Japan. Very ironic, though. They asked, you know, why was this base here? Who built it? What were all these bunkers originally built for? And so I had to tell them, well, during World War II, they built bombs here and they stored them here. And I didn't finish the connection there for them. I figured they could finish it, but I'm not sure that they did. And that is, a lot of these bombs went to the Japanese market. So, you know, very, very ironic. They were blown away, as is every other network from wherever they may be coming from. So, you know, we are truly in the middle of, you know, epic times and maybe an epic sight. That what we're hearing is that everybody wants to get aboard. Everybody wants to be a part of this. We're getting tons and tons of inquiries. The issue has always been, though, for the last 10 years with Vivos, is affordability. People at the right price, everybody wants it. But, you know, those that can't afford it, you know, they're very unhappy, let's put it that way. So we, about a month ago, in fact, and we were on your show, came up with another formula, and that is to do shared bunkers with 24 people per bunker, which is about 100 square feet effectively per person, which is a good ratio. It's a very comfortable ratio. And so people that can't afford to buy the whole bunker or even take the time to build it out or afford to build it out can now be part of a fully turnkey 4-star fit and finish bunker for one person, as many as they have in their group, for just $5,000 per person. And just let me put that in perspective. we have charged as much as $50,000 for one space in a bunker. So 35 was pretty much the norm over in Indiana. But, effectively, the way we do this is we figure out what our cost is and then work backwards to determine what we have to charge. So in this one, I did it a little different. What I did was say, last time I was here, what's the magic number? And in fact, Rex, I think you and I even talked about it.
We sure did.
And so I said, what's the magic number? What can people afford or should be able to afford? What's the lowest price I can drop it to and get them to have the option of joining us? And the number was $5,000. So I then said, okay, how many people do we have to put in a bunker and what are the costs going to be? And so we figured it all out. And turns out that's a break even. For us to do this at that price, we break even. There's no profit, nor do I care. So, our goal is to get this place built out for 5,000, 10,000, whatever the population is. But, effectively, to become the biggest survivalist or survivor community in the world. And it very well will be. It will be, let's look at the aftermath after whatever events may happen. You got to survive the event. You got to survive the aftermath. This is going to be an excellent place for that. And then you want to restart. So this is a wonderful place to restart. We're off grid, we're high, we're dry, we're away from all the known risks from nuclear sites to fault lines and oceans and tsunamis and so on. This is one of the best places in North America. In fact, the strip from here down through Kansas, Missouri, it's all considered to be one of the safe zones or safer zones. So anyways, the end of the day, I think this is going to be a thriving community of like-minded people that will have a better chance of surviving whatever's going to happen than they will on their own, wherever they may be. So, it's grim to talk like this, but it's real. So, welcome to the grim realities of life. Some people want to be here for the next age that we're about to witness. Most people won't make it through. But for those that do, I think it's going to be extremely thrilling. If we're effectively going into the golden age, the positive age, meaning we've been in the negative loop. Now we're going to the positive side. I think we're going to see a very nice planet. Certainly there's going to be less people, perhaps people you've known. But worry about yourself and your family and whatever you can do to help them get through these times.
And also with that said, I want to talk more about that article that came out from those two scientists, how they were discussing about 5 years ago. They saw that with their math and their data that the Earth did slow a little bit. And because of the rotation slowing down, even if it's just a millisecond, because the Earth is so large and it moves so fast in space, that actually has quite the effect. And I was also looking back at the supercontinent Gondwana, which is 250 million years old and older, and it's this one supercontinent, and somehow something caused it to explode or break apart into multiple countries. And I'm thinking to myself, that was around the same time of that mass extinction where over 90% of life disappeared and died off. So some people say volcanoes, but I think that something else caused the volcanoes to erupt and caused this, just an entire shift on the planet. So right now, with the data that I've done, I think that it's a good idea to be in an area that's going to be as far away from large city centers as possible. Now, that's my opinion. You might have a completely different opinion, but if you're in an area where there's millions of people and you say you're going to head to the hills, what do you think all of them are going to do as well? You know, I mean, Austin, Texas, as much as I love Austin, and the hills are beautiful out there, and San Antonio, way too many people out here. But in Austin area, what happens if things go bad and the economy collapses and you can't get your money out of the banks? And then there's these $10 million houses off the lake, yet where all the gangs going to go? Where all the looters going to go? I just see places like that as being a bad area in bad times. And that's my opinion. I'd much rather be in South Dakota or in the Rocky Mountains or somewhere in an area that's far away from a big city. Now, South Dakota, there's a lot of other options, folks. I mean, it's not just South Dakota. I just think right now what Robert has put together for $5,000, you can get yourself an opportunity, a game B, a plan B. And I read through a couple of comments here where they're saying, oh, bunkers are coffin, or bunkers are tombs. Bunkers are tombs. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, they might be. What are you doing? What are you doing? You hanging out at home with grandma, like I'm doing right now? Grandma's in the house. I'm in the garage. I mean, is it safer to be in your house made of 2x4s and sheetrock? Is it safer to be in an apartment building? Is it safer to be in a tent? Or is it safer to be in a concrete dome bunker? And one of the things that I think is kind of cool about the ones in South Dakota is they're under dirt, but they're not 20 feet underground. So worst case scenario, you need to leave your bunker. You can't. It's not like you can't get out. You know what I mean? Unless there's 50 feet of ice that's covered your bunker, and then you can just pull out a torch and then use your laser beams out of your eyeballs to open them up. I'm just saying.
Yeah. If we were about to be covered in ice, it's going to be a gradual thing. So, we adjust, and we may have to migrate. If there's a pole shift, predictions are we'll be closer to the equator, not further. So hopefully we'll get into a warmer climate. But, for those that think, oh, my God, that's going to be their cave, is they're going to be their grave, those expressions, I just ask them, really, well, so what's it going to be like, as you just said, Rex, for you? What's your plan? Oh, I'm going to stay in my house and watch it all happen on the internet. And I've got some beer, and I got my teeth. They're sitting on the counter right there, by the way. And, all I can say is I wish them luck. Let me know how it works out for you. Don't begrudge the people that have a solution, especially when you've had the opportunity to take advantage of the solution. It's right here. But yeah, anybody that worries about being in a bunker, understand something. If we're in a bunker and the door is sealed, and we're in lockdown, it's because we have to be. It's not because we want to be. It's because whatever's happening out on the surface, outside the bunker or bunkers, is an extinction level or whatever atmosphere or change that we cannot survive outside. We're not looking forward to sealing the doors, and that door won't be sealed until the last minute. So, if you think poor us, or I would never want to be underground or in a bunker with people I don't know, good luck. Let me know how it works out with people on the surface that you don't know, that will be knocking on your door, whether you be in Austin with a multi-million-dollar home or in the inner city, wherever you are. There's going to be a mass extinction. It's coming. And every source I have, every insider that I have connection with, including the government, they know it. They know it's coming. Now, others don't want to believe it. That's fine. It's not a matter of, if you don't believe, it's not going to happen, or I don't want to hear about it. I want to put my fingers in my ear or my head in the sand. You can do all that. But it's not going to change reality. It's whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing Trump or anybody's going to be able to do to stop it. We're not talking about man-made events, although we may see some very devastating events, everything from nuclear to economic collapse to complete anarchy, maybe another civil war. Those are all good reasons to come here as well. But what we're really all about is the coming earth changes. You mentioned the volcanoes and the continent shifts and so on. Where do you think all that's coming from? It's not coming from global warming, and it's not coming from the Washington or the White House. It's coming from deep inside this earth. So either the earth is rumbling, and as you say, we've slowed down. My opinion of what is going to cause those quakes is, think of the earth as a mass with, as we all know, several layers. And if you were to slow that mass on one layer but not the other, meaning we're not fully in sync because there's an adjustment going on, it's going to tug, it's going to pull on the other layer. So it could very well, and you could say, well, a millisecond, hey, that's a lot of tugging. It could cause the inner core, could cause the outer core to tear itself apart. So I think that's the reason that the scientists are saying, we're about to see some epic earthquakes. Look, everything is due. It's all lining up. And from what I'm told by those that have great insights, it's not going to be one thing. It's going to be many things, a series of things. They're just going to be so, as they were with the recent hurricanes, they're going to be so connected, one after the other, that we're not even going to be able to distinguish between, how bad it is and all the negative events. They won't even be able to cover them all. So, here's one that just popped up a couple days ago. An asteroid 3 miles in diameter, smaller than the one that killed off the dinosaurs. I think that one was 5 miles or kilometers, whatever, is going to graze Earth at Christmas time. It's going to graze Earth. It's going to skim right past us. So they know exactly when it's going to pass and what the distance is. Remember, we're moving 1.5 million miles per day as we orbit around the sun, which means I hope they've done their calculation, really well, because even a minute, figure it out. What's a minute into 1.5 million miles, or 1 minute of our travel? So, that's scary. It's very, very close. And who's to say there won't be some perturbation of it that would shift it ever so slightly. But worse than that is, just think about the frequency of these things now and the magnitude of them, the size. They're coming in left and right. Almost every week we have a different announcement of a sudden, just heard about it.
Let me jump in on that asteroid that you're talking about that's going to be skimming past the Earth's atmosphere very shortly. It also is going to leave behind a meteor shower, and astronomers are saying, how is that even possible? And I also just want to make a comment about what you're discussing. Anybody out there that feels it's a good idea to prepare for certain events, have a bug out bag. Even if you've got a $20 bug out bag, pick yourself up some books on how to find wild foliage that's actually edible, learn how to make a fire with a couple of sticks and a magnifying glass or something like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do as well. You don't just need to have one specific plan. It's good to put different eggs in different baskets. So that's not what this podcast is about. It's just saying, oh yeah, buy a bunker and go there. There's a lot of other opportunities, folks. I just think it's a good idea to, if you can have a certain game plan, wouldn't it be nice if you want to make it to the other side, if you want to make it through these events, if there is something that's going to go down? Imagine if you were back around when Noah was and you had an opportunity to get on a ship and make it through that 40 days of flooding. Would you do it? If you really thought there was a possibility, if you needed to come up with a few $1,000, or if you needed to be intuitive to maybe find a way to figure something else out, if you couldn't come up with the money, that's what this is about. It's not just getting yourself a bunker. Yeah, having a bunker is awesome. Yeah, getting into a game plan where you can drop $5,000 and have a guaranteed spot in a concrete dome that was built by the military to withstand some pretty solid force. I don't know. That seems like a decent option to me. I'm just saying. So anyway, take that for what you will, but there's just so much going down. Why not? I've been preparing for, when I was a little kid, you guys, I've brought this up before, but when I was like 5 years old, my biggest fear for some weird reason was World War III. So I don't know. Maybe I saw news when I was just even younger than that in the crib going, oh no, look at that, the Russians. I don't know. But for some reason, it's always been on my mind. And I've always been preparing for some type of event. So what's wrong with that? Just people that put dates on it. Those are the guys that make, oh, they're looking for that date. Oh, September 23rd. Oh, September 23rd. Oh, it's September 23rd. Next year. That's not what Robert's saying. And that's certainly not what I'm saying. I just think it's a good idea to have an option. So I'm sure most of you guys would agree with that. Nanny.
Yeah, Rex, you can either prepare to not survive or prepare to survive, or prepare for wherever you're going and hope that whatever happens quick and you don't have to suffer. But think of it this way. You would be very fortunate if you were at the epicenter of whatever the event was, because you're hopefully never going to see it coming and you're going to be on your way to the pearly gates if you so deserve. But if you don't, and you're not there and you do survive, then it's hell on earth. Then you're going to be really trying to survive on the surface with everybody else that has survived the event but won't survive the aftermath. So, you say get a bug out bag. That's right. Get your vehicle stocked and ready and do everything you can. And it doesn't cost much. I mean, a full tank of gas, what's it cost to keep that tank full? Stop frequently and don't let it get too empty. So you're always ready to go. The question is, go where? Where are you going to go? Where's your bug out? Oh, I'm going to the hills. Well, good luck. I know where there's a pipe, an underground corrugated pipe, or, I found a cave. Well, that's great. You're not going to survive in those places. These kind of events, we're talking, major changes on the surface of the earth. As you mentioned, what do you think the forces are that make continents move or subside or rise? All of that's coming. And I don't want to sound, Mr. Doom. I'm not. I'm very positive. But I'm also very realistic. And I didn't get into this business. Oh, he's selling bunkers. I'm not selling anything. I'm not here to sell you a thing. And I'm doing everything I can to make it as affordable for everybody without me making a profit. The good news is I was very successful prior to doing this. So I have a very reasonable net worth. And quite frankly, I haven't made any money at this, but I don't care. That's not what it's about. What my mission is to save as many people as possible. And the bunkers are here, but they still need to be built out. So to give you an idea, with this new formula, we're going to put 24 people at $5,000. That's $120,000 per bunker to build it out. And that's about what it's going to cost to do all the fit, finish, and provisioning for that many people in each bunker. So, there's really no excuse anymore. Oh, I can't afford that. You can get a job at McDonald's part-time and make $5,000 on the side. You could sell whatever junk you have in your basement, garage, attic, whatever, and probably do that. There's a will, there's a way. But again, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you to prepare. And whether it be Vivos, and we can't accommodate everybody, or it be, the cave up the street, as I just mentioned, whatever your solution is, open your eyes and get going. Because, there are many, many people that believe that the window of opportunity is very short now. I hear all sorts of dates. I don't like to use dates because we're about whatever and whenever, not specific what or specific when. But, I've been getting final warnings from many sources. So take that for what it's worth. I'm up here in South Dakota in the middle of, I traveled the day after Thanksgiving. I don't want to be up here. Southern California is really having some beautiful weather, but apparently it's happening here too. I don't want to be here, but I have no choice. I have to get this thing rolling and ready for as many people as possible. So, the reason I'm on your show, Rex, is you're tuned in. A lot of your listeners are well aware of what's about to happen. You're always going to have trolls, and you're always going to have naysayers, and you're going to and mostly the haters are the ones that can't afford it. So that's fine. You know, sucks to be them is really what it's going to boil down to. So yeah, and you know, Rex, that you have space here. You have a bunker, and for you and your family and grandma, and maybe some friends if you want to bring them with you. And I've already offered to create the Rex neighborhood. What are we going to call it? The ghetto? No, the community of Rex. And by the way, we've had a ton of listeners from your audience that have already written in and said they want to be located in Rex's area, wherever that is. So yes, we're going to designate an area out of 100 miles of roadway and 18 acres of land and 575 bunkers in phase one. There'll be a Rex. What do we want to call this? Rexdom or Rexville or?
No, none of that. None of that. Take that all back completely. But I would say this, it is a cool area. I mean, one thing I like about South Dakota is you've got in that area, you're about an hour away, less than an hour away from the Black Hills. You're about 2 hours away from Sturgis. You're about an hour and a half away from the Badlands. I remember when I went out earlier and had an opportunity to check out the bunker out there when we did the X Fest event. It was colder then than it is now. And you'd think it'd be the opposite, but this global weather is just bizarre. Very, very bizarre. But when I went out there to the Badlands, which is about an hour and a half from the bunker out there, it's like something out of a movie. It's just pristine. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I love South Dakota. I mean, South Dakota has so much history. You've got Mount Rushmore. You've got the Black Hills. You've got Deadwood. You've got Lead. There's Keystone area. So it's a cool place to visit. And I'm thinking to myself, with the bunker that I've got out there, I certainly hope nothing happens. And I'm still agnostic as to when something will happen, but I do see the writing on the wall. And I feel better just having an opportunity, a plan B. I don't want to have to live there, but it's sure nice to have the option where if all big cities just completely collapse, or if people start freaking out because they can't get access to gasoline or their groceries, I don't want to be in a big city. I can't stand big cities anyway. And I'm in San Antonio, and every time I leave grandma's garage, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this place grows every time I go out here. It's just, ugh. But whatever, it's cool. So, but South Dakota, man, I'll tell you, there's something about that place, especially when the weather is nice. So I would like to see that place eventually build up to be some type of community, a real community where people are independent, people think for themselves, people come up with inventions, and you got scientists and architects and engineers and artists out there. It could be like a combination of, I don't know, I think there's something going on in South America or South Africa where they're working on this project. Michael Tellinger, I haven't looked much into it, but people have been sending me some stuff in another country where this community is they're reestablishing the standards of living, and they're not being succumbed to this Borg system that just, it sucks everything it can out of people until they don't have anything left to give. I mean, think about all the hardworking people out there that are in their 60s and 70s and 80s that have worked their entire lives. And then what happens to them the last few years of their life? Usually they give it all back to some nursing home. The people that are taking care of them are making minimum wage. They're treating them like crap half the time. I mean, I saw a video the other day where these people were laughing at this guy dying. This World War II vet was dying, and they were laughing as he was trying to breathe. It was disgusting. But that's okay. And if you talk about getting outside of the norm a little bit and having a backup plan, then you're a freaking conspiracy theorist and you're a fearmonger. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Rex, do you know where the term conspiracy theory or theorist came from?
Either the CIA or the Tavistock Institute, one of the two.
It was the CIA following Kennedy's death. There were some critical thinkers, quite a few of them, that said this doesn't make sense, the Oswald theory and so on. And so they were investigating and came up with their own opinions and theories, and they still are. So the CIA coined this term, conspiracy theory, conspiracy theorist, to discredit them, to make them look like wackos. So in other words, a critical thinker is a whack job. What does that mean? It means they don't want you to think. Are you thinking? We'll tell you what to think. We'll tell you what to believe. How dare you go out of the box? So yeah, you become discredited. And but understand where they're coming from, and also understand that when whatever you theorized actually comes to flourishing, excuse me. Nobody's going to come out of the from the past and say, oh, we made a mistake. We realized you were right after all. Yeah, Area 51 does exist or did exist. And, yeah, we have the spaceships and we have the aliens, and they're never going to come back and acknowledge you, so you're always going to have that negative stigma of being the conspiracy theorist. But, it's a badge of honor to be able to think outside of the mainstream media and government box. So have at it, get going. Don't worry about what people think about you. Think for yourself. Start figuring, where do you want to be? Do you want to continue to be a slave to, we're all slaves, working for what? I have a theory about that. And that is that, since I think it was in the 60s, they came up with the credit rating system, TRW and the FICO score and so on. And, they judge you and they control you by your credit score. Anybody that knows that has a bad credit score, it's very hard to function in today's world. You don't get credit, you don't get a credit card, can't even rent a car because they won't take cash. So, they've got you controlled there. And then what they do is turn around and give you debt. They'll give you credit cards, at least initially to get started. They're offering them these left and right, buy today and pay over the next 5 years or zero interest, whatever it is. And what happens is you now have debt and you have a credit rating that you have to maintain. So what do? You go to work. People are still paying off last year's Christmas credit card debts. Put that in perspective. So what do? It's a vicious circle. They sell you things like crazy. I mean, Black Friday, you got to come buy. And, they want you to consume. Then they want you to go into debt. Then, because that's when they control you. And you have to go to work and you have to, basically struggle to survive. Very few people, I don't know too many people that are walking around with a ton of cash in their pocket, or that aren't in some way surviving. I was talking to somebody a couple days ago, and even, who I am and what I am, I was telling them, we were talking about when we were younger and going to bars and girls and so on. And I said, when I was younger, success meant probably more girls. Let's just put it that way. Now, success to me means security. It's having the security to be able to ride out the balance of whatever my life may be or others in comfort and with less fear, with less burden, with less of being, under the thumb. So I know that's a little bit astray, but it's not, because let's come back to Vivos X Point in South Dakota. There's going to be people that are here that are very happy to live off the grid, effectively, they don't need credit cards. They don't need the chip. They're going to be very happy here, farming and working amongst each other. I'm not saying going back to the Amish days. Nobody wants to be wearing long wool dresses and little bonnets on their head and unshaven beards to their knees. Well, there may be some.
Real quick, though, I hear what you're saying. I love their outfits, though. I do. And I was actually thinking about having just the bottom part of the beard and getting rid of the mustache so I could look more like the Amish or more like the Mormons did about 150 years ago. But I'm just saying. But here's the deal. One thing cool about the Amish, that was a stupid joke. I know it's terrible. But one thing cool about the Amish, I just got harped. There's a portable harp station right outside that attempted to just fry my brain. And somehow anyway, the Amish, they only found this test was done, 40,000 Amish people. And this guy tested and said, okay, I'm going to find out if people that are Amish have autism, or find out if they have neurological disorders and stuff like that, like many people do in the technological society. They found 2 cases of kids with autism that were Amish, and they were both adopted. That
Right.
means they were both vaccinated. They were both fully vaccinated at the doctor's office, injected with a multitude of toxins at birth. And everybody else that wasn't vaccinated, none of them had autism. So, I mean, the Amish, yeah, they certainly need to, I wouldn't want to be Amish, but there's certain things that culture permeates that I feel is natural and balanced and organic. So if we could find a way to kind of infuse some of those values with technology, combined with a 2,000 square foot bunker in South Dakota. Hello, man, how cool is that? We could be building rocket ships like that one guy, Mad Mike, that spent 20 grand to build a rocket ship that's only going 1,800 feet. Let's build one that goes 180,000 feet in South Dakota. How about that? Hello.
Mad Mike called it off, I think.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's a good stunt, but the flathead is not going to see the flat earth, I guess. But as far as, the Amish, that's true. I've got some friends that grew up on in a community, we'll call it that. It's called 12 Tribes, and they've got facilities around the world, from New Hampshire to California to Brazil. And he was brought up, it started up in the 60s, and he was, his parents were part of the original hippie group. But anyways, that said, they're very much against any kind of medication. They wouldn't allow their daughter to have vaccines. The doctors were harassing them, and she couldn't even register for school in California, and so on and so on. But, the other thing to ask is, look at the epidemic in diabetes type 2 right now. Where's that coming from? Is that from the food we're eating? Because it didn't exist in this percentage or ratio. Nearly 100 million people in America have diabetes type 2. I mean, it's unbelievable. And, so is that from GMO? Is that from, some good old chemicals in our wheat and everything else we eat? Who knows? But therefore, yes, there's a lot of people that want to get off grid. And if they can be in a community of like-minded, great. Other people that are joining Vivos X-Point over here, they're not here to give up what they got and their careers and so on and move tomorrow, but they are very happy to be part of this group when the shit hits the fan. To know that there are people here with the skill sets. We have doctors. Well, they've got skill sets, but what they don't have is they're not plumbers, they're not farmers. They may not be able to hunt or fish. They're doctors, and vice versa. So that's what makes this place, or will make it, truly epic. And I think after the math, in other words, the aftermath, it's going to be a destination. It's going to be one of the few survival centers in North America. Yeah, the one you mentioned in South Africa may survive, and maybe another one. The government has theirs. I don't think you're going to want to head to a government shelter under the Denver airport, to be saved, or to have them accommodate you in any way.
Who do you think has tickets to the Denver Underground Airport bunker?
Well, I know who has them, or better still, I know who doesn't have them, and that's you and me and probably most of your audience. Okay, so who are they? It's the government officials, elite, certain military, but not everybody. We're told that the Denver facility can accommodate about 10,000 people. That's huge. And it would be a shame if they're the only ones that do survive. So, but they didn't build that because they were concerned about little Kim, or about Russia or China or anything. They couldn't forecast the events that are now happening when they got started back in '83 building these bunkers. So, they've known for a very long time that something's coming. Trump told the New York Times that Obama told him that something big, really big, is about to happen. That was back in December, before he was inaugurated. So the New York Times reporter said, what did he say? And, Trump said, ask Obama. So, that cat is still not out of the bag. Nobody's fessing up to what it was or what it's going to be. But it's not, health insurance. It's not Little Kim. It's not all the day-to-day things that, happen in stride, as big as they've happened, or, even the epic events that we've had from hurricanes in Houston or Puerto Rico or wherever. So, I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to tell you. And, people either get it or they don't. By the way, how's the lighting? The sun is now going down. I still have just a little bit of light out there.
It's happened fast, like over the past 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's about normal, isn't it?
Is it? I never leave the garage. I mean, I don't know.
You need
what?
You need a periscope. Up periscope. Oh, okay, the world's still out there. Anyways, Rex, you and I get along real well. I'm really pleased with every opportunity I get to be on your show. And, you're definitely like-minded. And that makes you an excellent member of a community because, you're bringing awareness and knowledge. And, we want everybody that has anything they can contribute to the facility.
Let me jump in real quick, Robert, because, for somebody out there that's literally just busting, working as hard as they can, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, or just doing what they can. And they're still going paycheck to paycheck, but they're in the know and they offer, a lot of services and ideas to bring to the table. And they really want an opportunity for, I don't know, maybe some type of survival network similar to X Point or something like that. I mean, what do they do? What would you recommend to them to be able to get an opportunity to have at least a plan B as well, or a plan C, as well as a plan A and plan B?
Well, let's give you a metaphor like, an airplane. There are people that buy advance tickets. There's people that can afford to buy first class tickets. And those people all have a guaranteed seat on a plane. There's the others that show up for standby. So I would say to you, if you can't afford to buy the ticket, show up and be ready for standby. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of ways to earn space in somebody else's shelter here at X Point through in-kind services. We've got people here. I'm looking for workers. We're up here right now, and two of our guys are sick, and it's put a real strain on the progress that we have to make this week, the deadline we have by the end of the week. So I would say that if people are willing to uproot, and even if it's just a few weeks of the year, and pick your season, or if you want to come full time. This is a community that's growing. How many people do you think are needed to help build a community or a city of 5,000 people? 575 homes, if you will, of 2,200 square feet. A lot of people. We'll be banging these things out soon. In as cookie cutters. Probably 2 or 3 a week. Well, that's quite a bit of construction. So I would say to anybody who wants to get involved, put your boots on or your shoes and come on up. We've had a lot of people say, well, I can offer these skills. Can you give me a guaranteed space? I can't do that because I can't build these bunkers and outfit them, on the come. And so it takes money to build them. But I can offer people that have the right attitude, the right skills, and the right ethic and integrity. That's really key with me. I can offer them the opportunity to, if they're here, gain employment. And if you want to turn around from what you've earned and buy space, have at it. But I can tell you, the people that are already buying in here, that are already part the community, they're very generous. They're totally into sharing. And if you bring something that, friendship or whatever, their door is going to be open up until the last minute. So even if you can't afford to buy space, you can wheel and deal yourself some space up here. All right. But you can't do that sitting in your basement somewhere in, Texas, or sorry to pick on Texas, or California, or wherever you may be, and, we've had people say, well, how are you going to get me there? What do you mean get you there? Well, are you going to send somebody to pick me up? Sure. It's called on a silver platter and a flying carpet. We're going to come get you. Some people are so helpless that they can't even lift a finger to do anything for themselves. What does it take to, get on a bus, get on a bike, get on a train, whatever way you can get here, just get here, But on the other side of the coin, this is not a homeless shelter, and we're not trying to attract that. The people here range from some very highly educated professionals in every field: scientists, astronomers, doctors, surgeons, you name it, military people, but down to the blue collar workers, not down, but I would say the less skilled, those that bring other skills and talents to the table. So, we're trying to build a community of cross section. And I'll just tell you that it's really not the place to survive. It's going to be a place to thrive. People are going to thrive here. They're going to really, really enjoy this community before, during, and after an event.
Robert, somebody just asked me if you are a reptilian shapeshifter, and that's why you're wearing sunglasses, so that way they can't see your reptilian eyes shapeshift like mine do sometimes.
I think I am, and I'll tell you why. I was once going from San Diego to Tucson. No, I've just left them on. I'm comfortable. Anyways, I was once going from San Diego to Tucson at night, and I was going over the mountains in Southern California on Interstate 8, and there was a border patrol checkpoint, not at the border, but on the north on this highway. And they had a lot of giant lights and this X-ray machine that could look right through the car and see if we had any aliens in the back and in the trunk. And I was with another guy, and we pulled up near where the guard was, and he goes, he waves at us to pass. And, meaning he looked and he could see we were okay, and we weren't what he was looking for. And so I stopped and rolled down the window, and I said, can I ask you a question? He goes, yeah. I said, are you looking for aliens? And I went like this. And he said, very funny, get out of here. So, yeah. No, I'm not a shapeshifter.
And then he opened the trunk, and they're like, oh, man, look at all these guys. Anyway, I'm sorry. Terrible joke. Ba-da-ba.
Yeah. Who knows? I think we're all aliens. We all came from somewhere, and somebody seeded this planet, and it wasn't Darwin, and it wasn't, the apes. So, that's a whole nother story. But, hey, I'm just like you. Well, maybe not like you. Your eyes are looking a little glazed right now.
Oh, man, it's allergies.
Is it? I was wondering, or did you just have some donuts? Because you got your eyes are
donuts.
Glazed.
No, yeah, I don't like donuts.
Glazed,
I'm organic, man.
Glazed donuts. Yeah, what a cop.
Glazed donuts. Hello. Unbelievable.
You remember cops, they always, are known, the joke was always that they're having a donut. And so if they pull you over, you look at the cop and you say, yeah, did you just finish a donut? And he's going to say, well, why? What are you talking about? Say, well, your eyes look a little glazed over. So that'll get you 5 or whatever.
Hey, if we can, because I don't know how long we're going to do this podcast. You're in your vehicle. It's getting dark, and there's definitely, you're a super busy person. Let's talk a little bit about this bunker setup and exactly what somebody would get with $5,000. Now, for 25 grand, they can get essentially an open canvas, a shell, a structure that's about 2,000 square feet of concrete and steel reinforced that was made by the military in the 40s to house munitions, correct?
That's right. It's about 2,200 square feet. It's 80 feet long, 26 and a half feet wide, with a ceiling of about 12 and a half feet. So it's high enough to have an attic, not a second floor, but an attic for storage. Anyways, that's what you get for 25,000, and then you build out your shelter, and you can do a Spartan job, bare bones, and with all the technical equipment, generator and air filtration and so on. And that will cost you as little as 25,000 to build out. But by the time you put some creature comforts in there, even if it's a cot, some throw rugs and so on, you're going to be probably around $50,000 your build out. So again, very low in perspective. I mean, what are you getting? Even a RV or a fifth wheel or a motorhome, you don't get much for that much money. But the showroom unit that we're building out, if you scrolled, well, go down a little bit, right there, the upper one is what we're building out now in furnishing, and that unit, and it'll look just like that, and that's costing me about $100,000, the complete build out, and furnishing, I don't know, might be a little bit more. I'm not sure how much furnishing was in that number, but you could say, well, that's a lot of money. It's not. You can't buy a motorhome for that, at least not a decent new one. And so again, putting everything into perspective, the bunker's already built. The bunker, you're not going to have to do anything to it. Just move in. The replacement cost on the bunker alone, we believe, is about $200,000 per bunker. Now, if you go back a bit here to the page you were on before, and just hit your back or something. There you go. Click on that next drawing there, and enlarge. And you'll see that's the.
Will you just look at it?
Yeah, you want to look at it? So that's the same floor plan, but this is the 24-person version. So what you get is everything that's indicated there: the furnishings, kitchen, dining room, luxury living room areas, all the mechanical stuff, 2 bathrooms, a shower, and 5, bunks for 24 people. So they're in sets of 6, so 12 down and 12 up. And each one has its own privacy curtain, and they're really nice. We have some pictures in there somewhere. If you scroll down again, go back, you'll see what the bunks look like. But they're very, very comfortable. I've slept in them. You sleep like a baby. Keep going right there. Yeah, it gives you an idea of what they are with, privacy curtains. If you're a single person, you just need a single bunk. If you're a couple, then it's a double. So it's twice as deep. And each one has storage, has lighting, has little ventilator, has USB outlets and electrical outlet, has a little desk that folds down. So, it becomes your private space. And if you want to stay there and be quiet and, read a book or write your memoirs or whatever, go for it. If you want to be out in the open space, maybe you're going to be cooking or doing whatever. That shelter is going to give you some room to walk around and so on. But again, put it in perspective. Oh, I would never want to be in such a space like that, or I could never live with 24 people. Okay, that's your choice, not mine. I do hear that from people. Oh, I couldn't get along with 24 people. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. Better to know going in than to find out the hard way later. You know, you have to be tolerant. You have to be willing to make some sacrifices. Not everybody's going to be just like you. And, you know, that's the problem we are having around the world right now. Different religious beliefs, different environmental beliefs, political beliefs, and so on and so on. So, you know, tolerance is what's needed. And that's what Vivos is all about. You know, Vivos is, the word means, it's Latin for the living. All right. It's not Latin for the haters, or the ones that can't get along, or the ones that aren't going to survive. So, you know, this is a really, really epic project in a beautiful setting, as you're showing on the screen there, and with tremendous resources. In fact, one of the workers, the ranch manager today.
Robert, I see a fence. I see a fence that's pointed outwards. They don't want me to get out, man. They won't let me out once I go there. They're gonna harvest my organs.
Yeah, see, that's the ignorant thinking again. You know, that fence points out, not in. It's to keep intruders out. You're just looking at it as it wraps around from an angle. Trust me, that fence was built, and it's quite amazing. The fence was built 70 years ago out of very high strength military grade wire and steel. And it looks brand new. There's no rust, there's no deterioration whatsoever. Imagine the cost of putting up a fence. The perimeter on this place must be about 60 miles for that grade fence. So these are the kind of things we've inherited, as well as the bunkers themselves. So now that fence is to keep outsiders out. But we have other devices. We're not too worried about people breaking in. And so, yeah,
it's a fence, man. I'm scared they might get me, Robert.
I know. You're paranoid. So, you know, and there's a good shot of what I call land yachts, because each one is like a ship in the sea, waiting for utilization. So these things are massive, and they're solid, and they're going to survive virtually everything. So plenty of information there on our website, and there's more. If you inquire, we send you a pretty good package of information. Answers to all your questions. That alone is like 6 pages long. So people ask us, can I do this? Can I bring my cat? Can I have an outside garden? Can I farm? You know, let me point out something else I'm sure you've read recently. A NASA scientist made the claim that by the year 2025, we won't be able to farm on the surface of the Earth. That was in the news a month or so ago. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Maybe you know something we don't know. But what does that mean? It means we're going to have to farm indoors, underground. So a number of these bunkers will be dedicated for farming, and they will be used for hydroponics and so on.
There's some questions from the audience if we could answer, because obviously they're interested here. These are very legit questions. Somebody says, what about water? If I'm going to go out there, how much do you charge for that?
Well, shame on me again. You know, people accuse me of all sorts of things. We're the water, we're giving it away for free. We don't charge, and never will. We get it for free out of the ground. We're giving it away for free. The only thing we charge for is the hookup. And that's because between each bunker, it's a 400-foot distance. So to lay the pipe from one to the next, each bunker owner pays for that. However, in the shared bunkers at 5,000, I pay for that. I deliver that bunker turnkey, everything that's needed, down to the towels, the linens, the silverware, the dishware, the pots and pans, everything. So you know, so we're again, there's no profit here, and but water's free. Power, you're going to generate your own. The way we've designed this and planned it is that each bunker is autonomous, rather than relying on some central power station that could go down and then everybody's going to be out of power. So you buy a small Perkins diesel 6.5 kW generator. It'll run everything in the shelter. Those run around, I think our negotiated price is $5,600. You don't buy them from us, you buy them direct from a manufacturer over in Georgia. And they make this particular specific generator that is just perfect. It's perfect because it's not an oversized and it's slow turning 1800 RPM, but also it doesn't consume a lot of fuel. And that's the key. You know, you can't store too much fuel. So we, with only 1,000 gallons of fuel, you can run for about a year. Not 24/7, but long enough to charge the batteries that are going to then be in, the power is going to be inverted to run everything that's 110 or 12 or 24 volt. So yeah, there you are zooming in. If you look to the right, lower right corner of that image right there, scroll over, down, follow the road to the right that goes off at an angle. No, down to the right. There you go. Follow that road. Keep following it. And right there, put your cursor, go back up. I'm sitting right there on top of that mountain right now. So I think you're a little bit south of where I'm sitting.
I was just going to say, because for people that I read a comment that said, man, I would hate to live like that. My goodness, what do you want to do? Live in New York City? Are you into big cities? I get it. If you're into the big city, yeah, you do not want to be here because this is not anywhere close to a big city. I went out there and spent some time just several months ago and I loved it. I mean, it's like being in another world out there. It's literally just mind boggling. And my mind was going back 50, 60, 70 years thinking what it was like back during its heyday when everybody was out there and excited and, you know, just hustling and bustling and moving and grooving and the way people would think and just to protect their country, to protect their values and freedoms. That's what they were there for. And they were in the machine. They were in the system. And, you know, the area itself, when I went out there, you guys, I explored virtually the entire area. And Robert was kind of shocked because I told him I did so much hiking and I was just really enjoying it. But it's huge. It's absolutely huge out there. It's like another world. And there's no nuclear reactors close to this place. The electronic magnetic smog, the amount of EMF radiation is minimal. I tested some of the different bunkers out there with my Geiger counter to see what the radiation levels were showing up with the Geiger counter. And they were showing 0.16 microsieverts per hour or less the entire time I was out there, which is pretty darn low. So it's a fun area. I just think it's exciting. And, you know, just to go out there and visit it and get a relative perception on what it was like 60, 70 years ago, the way people worked. And some of the walls out there, even, you know, they didn't have the internet back then. So people were actually writing on the walls. Okay, I've been here 357 days. They were making jokes back and forth to each other. Some of the walls in some of these bunkers, there was a famous artist actually that did specific artwork in some of these bunkers. And he's gone out. I can't remember his name, but very incredible area. And you can see right here, if you zoom in, some people that are kind of wondering how these bunkers actually work, you're going to notice that these bunkers are actually covered in dirt. And then there's grass that overgoes the bunker. But somebody made a comment, Robert, what about land? I mean, will I have room to roam around and grow crops? Look at how much land is surrounding each one of these bunkers. And could you talk to the people about that, Robert?
Right.
I just kind of scroll through.
Sure. Each bunker is spaced 400 feet apart in every direction. You see that little horseshoe thing? Those aren't bunkers. Those are berms where they parked the trucks when they were offloading the bombs. So it was a little safe zone. And so that dirt that you see there, it's of no value to anything anymore, other than we're allowing people to take that dirt and put it on top of their bunker. So you can pile on as much dirt as you want. You can have 3 feet at the apex and taper it out. You end up with the land that is dedicated exclusive to you is 30 feet in all directions from the base of the bunker. So it's considered to be a large enough area for you to park things and to have a garden and so on. But remember, we still have cattle grazing on the property. We have 500 head of Black Angus and a number of heifered bulls. And so, you know, we can't be blocking them from having their free roaming access. And so that's why we need to keep gaps between each and every bunker where they can just roam through. But you can fence your area and it becomes your private space. So, you know, the key here is we're trying to give everybody their fair share, but keep it fair. And to the point of, you know, look, we're not giving you 1,000 acres with your bunker, and you know, nor do you need it. So also there are plenty of common areas where we'll be setting up land for farming and community farming, and as well as bunkers that won't be utilized as for protection of people, and they're just going to be dedicated for greenhouse uses. Others are going to be stables. Others are going to be warehouses. Some may be, you know, meeting halls, schools, a medical clinic, restaurant, barbecue area, bar, you name it. All the amenities that you would think and would like, they're all going to be here. And as the population grows, as the number of bunkers are being sold or leased, we have a schedule, and at 100 units we do this, and at 200 units we do that. So it's all tied down very tightly. But you know, you got to see it. You know, there was a gentleman that came here yesterday from Los Angeles. He was in South Dakota for Thanksgiving. He came over and looked at it, and you know, he had the exact expression that everybody else, including yourself, Rex, have when they first come here. Oh my God, I had no idea it was this big. So I think the gist of what somebody just said to you about big city is they're thinking this is going to be a big city. It's not. 5,000 people spread out over 18 square miles is a very low density and of population, but it's 5,000 of the right people, or 10,000. We'll see what we end up with. That's the key. You know, if you think it's better to stay wherever you are, do you know your neighbor 4 or 5 doors down? Do you know the guy that lives a half mile down or a mile down the road? Do you know the guys that what did they do? Just stab some guy 100 times in Baltimore, and sorry for the reality here, but cut his head off and took his heart out. That's the kind of crap that's going on now. Imagine when we have no rule of law. So the world is lawless. You're going to see that all over the place. So why would you ever want to expose yourself to that and not have a solution? You know, and if you buy into Vivos and you don't need it, we never come here, we never need it, that's great. Let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to need it. I mean, wouldn't that be, I would much rather have something that I don't need to use, like a bunker, than be like, oh man, I want to go to my bunker today and hang out, man, because the world's blowing up out there. I just think it's fun. I'm going to read a book today. What are you going to do? I mean, it's there if you need it. It's not like a place. So I just think it's funny when I read these comments are hilarious, the way people think. I find it so ironic, but then I realized, then somebody said, man, there's no trees out there. There's no trees. Yeah, there's trees out here. Matter of fact, you're about 15 to 20 minutes away from the beginning of the Black Hills. If you look at this area right here, you can see there's a little town here called Edgemont, which is outside of the X Point area. So this area down here, we just look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, we just look at it. So you can see here, you've got these just bunkers, and you've got the just real air, like just, I would say this land, when you get out there, the size of it, because some people are like, man, they're going to know where you're at, Rex. You're telling everybody where you're at. Good luck finding this place. And then when you do, good luck finding my bunker. People are like, man, the military is going to come take them back. I think the military has other things to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying.
You know, it's just such nitwit. Sorry, but I'll address those people right now. They're so uneducated, so uninformed. They don't get it. Why would the military come take these? They got their own. You know, and who's going to invade this place? By the way, if you can go to Google Maps and search Vivos X Point. Just put it in. It'll take you right to the spot. Somebody did that. Somebody posted it thinking they were going to, aha, I'll expose you. Guess what? We don't care. We don't care because nobody's going to invade this place. You would need to be an army. And unless it's the Chinese, the Russian, whatever, what are the odds? Why would they come and try to invade this place? Picture a town of 5,000.
North Korea is going to get you.
Yeah, picture a town of 5,000 people. That's nothing. They're not going to target this place. And also, they're going to be met with counterforce. You got 5,000 plus, maybe 10,000, survivalists, and most of them will have their toys. Who's going to want to invade that? Especially when we can see you coming from 3 miles, 5 miles in every direction. Where I'm sitting right now, I can see when the sun is out, 30 to 50 miles away in every direction. So this hilltop is one of our strategic points. But if you're afraid of the government coming to get you, then stay right where you are, because that's where they're going to go, to the metro areas, the cities, and so on. They're not coming here. And by the way, we're going to have plenty of military members that are already signed up, and more to come. So, who's going to invade this place? It's like saying, I need honey. I'm going to go put my hand in the bee's nest without a glove. Really.
Somebody asked where they would store. Where would they store the fuels?
Okay, fuel is stored inside in separate tanks. We have tanks that are 100 gallons. They're steel. We're storing diesel, not gas, so it's a very safe storage. We're also using 55-gallon steel drums, full to the top with sealed. And remember, those were invented in the 1800s to do what? To store fuel and oil and chemicals. And so, you'd say 55-gallon drums. Yeah, they're perfect. They stack or line up side by side in the back of the bunker. There's an area. And we take the fuel from there to fill the day tank on the generator itself. And so that's an exercise that'll happen daily or every other day. But 18 of those 55-gallon drums will store approximately 1,000 gallons. And that's what we're speccing, is 1,000 gallons will run your generator 5 to 6 hours a day. And that's long enough to charge the batteries, which will then be putting out 12 or 110 through an inverter to power everything in the facility. When you're running the stove or the microwave or the hot water heater for a shower, those are the 3 things that you would only run when the generator is operating. You're not going to run that off battery. So, but otherwise, the generator is not powering the facility. The generator's charging the battery. So it's very much like a solar system. When the sun is out, it's charging. At night, you're, drawing from those batteries. And all of that, by the way, the generator, the batteries, the inverter, the NBC filtration, our spec on it is about $25,000 for all of what we call the life safety equipment. So again, it's not much money. You put 20 people in a bunker, do your own math. Let's say you did your own private bunker, and let's say it costs you $100,000. What is that divided by 20? It's $5,000 a person. So you don't have to join one of our groups. You can put your own group together. Rex, let me make the offer right now. People need to write Rex and tell you they want to be in your bunker. I bet you're going to get more than 20 people in the next 24 hours saying, Rex, I want to be with you.
Well, there's some really neat people out there, Robert, and I find it fascinating when I read through some of the comments and talk to some of the people who listen to Leak Project and how similar their mindset is to mine. It's fascinating. And then I have people like Heidi Vandenberg on the show that does Vedic star charts and will actually be able to pretty much break down what somebody's life is like based upon the time of birth and the location of birth. And a lot of people that listen to the show have very strong similarities, and the mindset, they want to know the truth. They're seekers of the truth, of knowledge, of information that they weren't told in school. And and they know that things aren't right. And they also want to get to the place where things can be right. They want to make things right. I think most people that listen to Leak Project generally want to see a world of amazing opportunities where everybody can win. It's a win-win situation, not a win-lose situation. And I feel like that's the old school mindset to some of these elitists that have so much money and so much power, as they're living in a society and a mindset of thinking that everybody else has to suffer for them to profit. Well, why can't we all work together? I mean, we're at the point now where we can travel the universe in our garage on the internet. In a sense, I mean, we can see so much in the stars and in the oceans and our own planet just on information that's available on the World Wide Webs. And with all the data and access and opportunities, we should utilize that. And I think that South Dakota is a pretty cool opportunity. I need to spend more time out there. I can't wait to have my bunker completely set up, because I want to start doing more shows out there where I'm actually doing a lot of these Leak Project podcasts in my own bunker. Because when I, here in grandma's garage, as much as I love it, I'm still in the city. There's still all sorts of people around me all the time. I can hear people outside, the cars driving past and everything else. So I can't wait to get back out there as well, and then have an opportunity to explore. Because, man, aren't we explorers at heart? Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, do you like being confined in a society, a 9-to-5 type society, where you have to be succumbed to your boss that's underneath their boss, underneath their boss, underneath their boss? I mean, you're like lemmings. People are like lemmings. So break out of it. Whether or not you go to South Dakota or you find somewhere out in the Rocky Mountains or Utah or Arizona or Alaska or Timbuktu, just do something. Have some fun. I mean, get out of normal. Normal scares me, ladies and gentlemen. Normal scares me, because people that strive to be normal, that is the idiocracy mindset. And that's when an IQ of 60 is considered genius. And I don't want to see that in the future. So give us a couple more gems to close out tonight, Robert.
Yeah, those people are called sheep, and we all know where sheep go, and that's to slaughter. So you can follow the sheep, or you can go the opposite direction. Again, we can't accommodate everybody at South Dakota or Indiana or Germany or South Korea or everywhere else we're building bunkers and already have them. We never go out. We've never advertised. We've never done any promotion, any publicity whatsoever. Yeah, I do shows like yours, but we don't have to. The media is beating on our door. Producers are beating on our door. They're stumbling over themselves to do reality show, to do documentaries. And as I mentioned at the opening here, there's a big one being filmed right now that will be on a major network. It's going to be at least an hour-long special. It may be longer. And that's separate from these reality shows. So why are they so interested? And the reason is because they see the market, they see the times, they see that this is real. And people are very, very interested in this. So, and by the way, with regards to a leader or a boss, you just mentioned the boss, his boss, his boss. That's not me. I'm not the leader. I'm not your fearless leader. I'm the architect. I'm the guy that's making this place and others come together, creating the opportunity. I don't need to be the mayor. I don't need to be the chief. That I'll leave that to others. All right. But better still, maybe we're better off without that fearless leader, that politician, or that cult leader that you hear so much about. People have said, well, it sounds like a cult. It's not a cult. People don't know each other. They're not here because of religious reasons. There is no dogma. There's basic rules.
Speaking of dogs, real quick, I'm sorry that there's been several people that have asked me this question. Speaking of dogs and cats, what about pets? What about animals like horses? And what about personal protection?
Bring them, and bring your personal protection. Whatever's legal. We don't control that. The state and the county do. So if it's legal, and I think South Dakota is a pretty generous, liberal state. Conservative state, but liberal on what they allow. This place is full of hunters. I was talking to a guy today who, in fact, the documentary producers asked a few questions, and they said, well, what do you shoot? Or I asked him, what do you shoot? And what I was expecting to say is, oh, I shoot deer, or I shoot coyotes, or whatever. prairie dogs, I guess he was one of his favorites. But he didn't answer the question that way. His answer was he went through a laundry list of all the weapons he has. This is just a local guy. And I'm going, holy shit, the guy's a one-man, army. The ranch manager here, I guess today's Sunday, he had the itch to go hunting, and he took down a deer. Not sure how many points it had. I saw it laying in the back of his truck. And, I said, why'd you do that? And he says, well, it's what I do. I like it. People around here are hunters. They like to do that. To me, I felt, how could you ever harm an animal, free spirit like that, shorten his life for what? What benefits? Are you going to get some meat in your freezer on the table? If you don't have to, and we don't live in a society today where you have to kill your own, your own meat. And if you're doing it for sport.
New text message from Dave Foundsagrew.
Hang on a second, guys. And if you're, my car's talking to me. If you are doing it for sport, I'm not a fan of that. Using any weapon for anything other than self-defense, or if it's a survival situation. Cattle, I guess we all eat beef and chicken and certain domesticated animals or animals that are used for, our domestic cuisine. But, wildlife, I'm sure I'm offending a lot of people or pissing a lot of people off by making the statement, but, I believe in life, not in death. And so, Vivos is the living, and that's, what I'm trying to do. So I got to tell you something. I don't even own a gun. Okay. I don't need a gun. At 6'8", nobody's ever given me any trouble, but I'm not a gun believer. I know vaguely, what an AR is and a 45 and so on. And I've certainly shot different weapons, and actually I'm a pretty good shot. My favorite was a 911. I think it was called, is that what it's called? Not a Glock, but a 911 or 916. I forgot what it was called. Your guys will know. But I don't own a weapon, but everybody here does. And there will be plenty of guns. Whatever's legal, you can bring. And as far as pets, you can bring them all. Keep your boa constrictor at home. If you're going to share them.
Did you say that I can't bring my 4.5-foot python?
Nope. Pardon the pun, but you're going to have to leave it in your pants.
How?
Anyways, I had to go there. So, in honor of Harvey Weinstein, I had to go there. It's just a thing. It's part of our times today. So where was I? Yeah. So yeah, you can bring domesticated animals that are considered pets. We want them. We want the love and the energy that they bring. They're, you're going to be your best friend, and they're going to be everybody's best friend. They're very healing. And so the only issue there would be if you're sharing a bunker, the bunker that you choose to share or the group has to also get along with your pet. So maybe we're going to have separate cat bunkers than from dog bunkers, or certain bunkers that have no pets at all. But again, I don't decide that. You do. So, once you decide you want to be in a community bunker, you sign a reservation agreement. And then we have a meet and greet, and you come along with others when we have our first critical mass of that group. And you'll say, hey, just like in high school where, and you were in the gym and you're going to choose teams, the red team and the blue team. I want to be on his team, so I'm going to go in his bunker. We may have a bunker that's all women, another one that may be all guys. That's where you're going, Rex, the guy bunker. Whatever floats your boat. You can pick your roommates, if you will, and rightfully so. If you want to be in a bunker of all military people, that's good. You want to be with other scientists, doctors, that's good. So think of it that way. Just like any other community, we've got a matrix, and that matrix will basically accommodate everybody while we are no longer part of the matrix, if you will.
Right on. Well, Robert, I got to say, man, it's always fun to talk to you, and it's always fun to read through the comment section when I've got you on the show. It seems to be just a multitude of opportunities in the live chat. So all of you listening,
I don't have the benefit of the comments. What's the gist?
It's a plethora of goodness. It's a plethora of goodness.
So it's haters and lovers.
You know, there's a few of them, a few of those guys that think they know. And hey, that's awesome. It's fun to read through the trolls. I don't mind, as long as they keep it civil and don't start freaking out, you know, and having brain aneurysms and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out, man. Fearmonger. You guys are fearmonger, man. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where to go.
Oh, Rex, poor baby. Rex, you can always switch podcasts. Go to the Disney Channel if you want to live in La La Land and fairy tales.
Disney scares me too.
Yeah, Pinocchio, he's a scary guy, you know, and the big bear, you know, whatever his name was, you know. Anyways, you know, look, you know, everybody has their own belief, and you know, some people, you know, let's just put it this way. We all can't get along. Unfortunately, as Rodney Allen King said, can't we all just get along? And the answer is no. And we never will. And so, you know, thank you for identifying who you are, sir. Actually, he probably has a stage name on the chat room here. But can I thank him for exposing who he is and his mindset? Because if we knew more, he's the guy that we don't really want at Vivos. And so thank you very much. You know.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine somebody like that in a bunker? Could you imagine what that'd be like to be oh man, who are you sharing a bunker with? This guy's so scared. He saw a caterpillar and he just freaked out, man.
Well, you know, nature will take its course.
That fly, dude. You see it? You see it on the Zika virus. I'm gonna get a small brain.
Nature will take its course. The door swings both ways. So let us know when you want to get out, or we'll let you know when it's time to get out. You know, yeah, you have to get along. I said that early on. It's tolerance. You know, you have to get along. Why is the world in the position it's in, at least socially and humankind? It's because of intolerance. Every religion has different beliefs. Every political system has different beliefs. You know, we have racism. There's so much division, and everybody thinks they're right and everybody else is wrong. And so I'm glad you've got experts listening, because, you know, I'm glad they know what to do. And when they've gone out and done as I have for 10 years, built bunkers to save thousands of people. But you know what? They're right. I didn't think of that. I just didn't think of whatever their comment was. Yeah, they're right. We're probably not going to make it.
Well, hey, man. And another thing, too, that I got to say is everybody out there is absolutely entitled to your opinion. And if you really think that this
you're
is
right. You're entitled to,
fearful,
you're right.
if you're really scared,
no.
Hey, man.
Hey, you said everybody's entitled to your opinion. Thank you. You mean my opinion.
No, you're not. You're not entitled to your opinion. Everybody else is, but you're just, you're a fearmonger. I mean, because they're scared because you're talking about possible scenarios. So, no, I think it's interesting because most people that say you're a fearmonger, like, are they really in fear? Are they freaking out? They're like, man, I'm not going to make it anymore. I need to go. I'm going to call everybody up because I don't know how much longer I have left, because the end of the world's going to be tomorrow. Anyway, that's all good. And I'm just having a little fun, ladies and gentlemen. I got to blow off some steam too, because if I read too many of these serious comments, why so serious, ladies and gentlemen? Take a deep breath. I know I need to after this podcast, and I can't wait to get to South Dakota. I'm going to be out there shortly.
You know what, fear? Sorry to interrupt. Did I interrupt you before? This first time. Anyways, do you know what fear is, and where it emanates from is not having a solution or an answer to a problem. You know, you think you're not going to make any money or put food on the table, you're going to be in fear. But if you had a lot of money, you're not going to be in fear of putting food on the table, let's just say. I mean, I'm giving you just a very basic metaphor here. But let's say there was a global pandemic, which they're claiming one is starting in Africa right now, as you know. And let's say that there is a virus going around, and that virus is going to, like the Black Plague, take out X percent of the population. And if, there's nothing you can do to stop it unless you have the antidote. And let's say that I have the antidote. So I'm going to tell you about the plague, and it's coming, and that's going to probably cause you to be afraid if you didn't already know for yourself, if I was the one that informed you or Rex. So now you're afraid. But I'm also saying, oh, by the way, I got the antidote. It's right here. And now that plague will not kill you. You're going to survive. Guaranteed. Here's the antidote. Take it. Are you going to now be afraid? No, I've just relieved you of your fear. So I'm not selling fear. I'm selling the antidote to it. I'm selling the solution to relieve your fear. People that buy into Vivos are living in bliss afterwards. They go, wow, I couldn't sleep, and now I sleep like a baby, knowing that I have a solution for me and my family, you know? So, but, you know, go ahead and twist it any way you want. You know, I don't care. I really don't care. People have been, you know, over the years, we've had haters and lovers. I remember I told a big media person once that, you know, we got a lot of haters and we got a lot of lovers. And they said, well, which ones are the haters? And I said, oh, they're the ones that can't afford to get in. So, you know, when you can't afford it, you're going to find every reason it's no good, just to justify, you know, and in your own mind, while it's bad. Why is it bad? Well, because I can't afford it. Sorry.
No problem. You know, one more question before we close out tonight, because it looks like two different people asked this, and you did bring this up on a show previously, but if you could answer this again, what is the situation with background checks on people, for example, somebody that might be on the sex offense registry or serious former criminals? Great question.
Do check. Yeah, we do check. But, you know, anybody could be a closet Harvey Weinstein or whoever else is out there. And so if we don't get you coming in, we're going to get you when you're here. We're going to find out, you know, and the rules and regs are, you know, we've got some excellent rules that if you violate them and you're a repeat offender, you're out of here. So, for example, you cannot touch an underage, a child. Unless the parent has or the guardian has said you could. You know, you want to shake their hand or you want to pat them on the back. You know, you can't. You know, we're really concerned about that. You know, this is going to be a safe Disney-like environment, and that's what our security is looking for. Every member knows what the ground rules are. You know, if you go to Disneyland and you go running down Main Street screaming and swearing, you're not going to be there very long. You know, they have their own rules. And same thing if you're running down the halls of an apartment building, you know, with a gun. So, but yeah, we do check people out. And if they should sneak in, no worries. They'll be exposed sooner or later and they'll be out. So, but let me ask that person who wrote those, or those two people that wrote that question, do they know what's in the mind of the people that live next door to them or down the street? You know, yeah, there are predator on the web, people that have had a criminal background, and you can look them up, and they're everywhere. And probably it'll scare you to find out. But, you know, we really don't know. I mean, who knew, you know, some of these politicians? Who knew about all these Hollywood elite? You know, certainly some people knew. But, you know, you're going to find out. And when we do, you know, it's going to suck to be them, is all I can say. Is that a good answer?
Hey, the answer, if that's the answer, if that's how it goes, then that's a good answer. And I definitely appreciate you coming on the show and listening to the trolls and the comments and answering the questions. And I can't wait to see you in South Dakota, Robert. Yeah,
likewise. I don't know when our next event. Oh, let me just leave you with one little thing. We're finishing up the showroom. Between Christmas and New Year's, it should be ready, but certainly the week after the 1st. So if anybody wants to schedule during the holiday season, maybe to come up and tour that, yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity. during the so-called Christmas break, and you get some time off. We have a ton of producers that are going to be here. They want to film the finished product. But it's also a great opportunity. That's what that showroom's for. So people can come and walk it, feel it, sit in it, and say, wow, this is better than my home. So, and that's the plan. That's the design. So anyways, hey, it's an honor to be with you and your audience. And I'll look forward to doing it again.
Right on, Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, check out TEOTWAWKI.com. Look at the X Point section. You have an opportunity to purchase an entire bunker for yourself and your family, or you have an opportunity to go in with several people and do the bunker share program for $5,000. So check it out. Be excellent to each other, ladies and gentlemen. Also, go to leakproject.com. There is a new section on Leak Project called forums.leakproject.com. If you're like many that like to leave long posts and comments and write a lot more than you do actually talk, you should check out this new forum. It is taking off, folks. There's a lot of information there, and the same topics that we discuss here at Leak Project are available for you to expand upon at forums.leakproject.com. Check it out today, terravivos.com. Check out terravivos.com. Be the change you want to see and make it to the next level.
Survive it.
Survive and thrive, ladies and gentlemen, and have fun. Why so serious?
This Missouri, it's all considered to be one of the safe zones or safer zones. So anyways, the end of the day, I think this is going to be a thriving community of like-minded people that will have a better chance of surviving whatever's going to happen than they will on their own, wherever they may be. So, it's grim to talk like this, but it's real. So, welcome to the grim realities of life. Some people want to be here for the next age that we're about to witness. Most people won't make it through. But for those that do, I think it's going to be extremely thrilling. If we're effectively going into the golden age, the positive age, meaning we've been in the negative loop. Now we're going to the positive side. I think we're going to see a very nice planet. Certainly there's going to be less people, perhaps people you've known. But worry about yourself and your family and whatever you can do to help them get through these times.
And also with that said, I want to talk more about that article that came out from those two scientists, how they were discussing about 5 years ago. They saw that with their math and their data that the Earth did slow a little bit. And because of the rotation slowing down, even if it's just a millisecond, because the Earth is so large and it moves so fast in space, that actually has quite the effect. And I was also looking back at the supercontinent Gondwana, which is 250 million years old and older, and it's this one supercontinent, and somehow something caused it to explode or break apart into multiple countries. And I'm thinking to myself, that was around the same time of that mass extinction where over 90% of life disappeared and died off. So some people say volcanoes, but I think that something else caused the volcanoes to erupt and caused this, just an entire shift on the planet. So right now, with the data that I've done, I think that it's a good idea to be in an area that's going to be as far away from large city centers as possible. Now, that's my opinion. You might have a completely different opinion, but if you're in an area where there's millions of people and you say you're going to head to the hills, what do you think all of them are going to do as well? Austin, Texas, as much as I love Austin and the hills are beautiful out there, and San Antonio, way too many people out here. But in Austin area, what happens if things go bad and the economy collapses and you can't get your money out of the banks? And then there's these $10 million houses off the lake, yet where all the gangs going to go? Where are all the looters going to go? I just see places like that as being a bad area in bad times. And that's my opinion. I'd much rather be in South Dakota or in the Rocky Mountains or somewhere in an area that's far away from a big city. Now, South Dakota, there's a lot of other options, folks. It's not just South Dakota. I just think right now what Robert has put together for $5,000, you can get yourself an opportunity, a game B, a plan B. And I read through a couple of comments here where they're saying, oh, bunkers are coffin, or bunkers are tombs. Bunkers are tombs. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, they might be. What are you doing? What are you doing? You hanging out at home with, with grandma, like I'm doing right now? Grandma's in the house. I'm in the garage. I mean, is it safer to be in your house made of 2x4s and sheetrock? Is it safer to be in an apartment building? Is it safer to be in a tent, or is it safer to be in a concrete dome bunker? And one of the things that I think is kind of cool about the ones in South Dakota is,
and I didn't finish the connection there for them. I figured they could finish it, but I'm not sure that they did. And that is, a lot of these bombs went to the Japanese market. So, very, very ironic. They were blown away, as is every other network from wherever they may be coming from. So, we are truly in the middle of, epic times, and maybe an epic site. What we're hearing is that everybody wants to get aboard. Everybody wants to be a part of this. We're getting tons and tons of inquiries. The issue has always been, though, for the last 10 years with Vivos, is affordability. People at the right price, everybody wants it. But, those that can't afford it, they get, they're very unhappy, let's put it that way. So we, about a month ago, in fact, and we were on your show, came up with another formula, and that is to do shared bunkers with 24 people per bunker, which is about 100 square feet effectively per person, which is a good ratio. It's a very comfortable ratio. And so people that can't afford to buy the whole bunker, or even take the time to build it out, or afford to build it out, can now be part of a fully turnkey 4-star fit and finish bunker for one person, as many as they have in their group, for just $5,000 per person. And just let me put that in perspective. We have charged as much as $50,000 for one space in a bunker. So 35 was pretty much the norm over in Indiana. But, effectively, the way we do this is we figure out what our cost is, and then work backwards to determine what we have to charge. So in this one, I did it a little different. What I did was say, last time I was here, what's the magic number? And in fact, Rex, I think you and I even talked about it.
We sure did.
And so I said, what's the magic number? What can people afford, or should be able to afford? What's the lowest price I can drop it to and get them to have the option of joining us? And the number was $5,000. So I then said, okay, how many people do we have to put in a bunker, and what are the costs going to be? And so we figured it all out, and turns out that's a break even. For us to do this at that price, we break even. There's no profit, nor do I care. So, our goal is to get this place built out for 5,000, 10,000, whatever the population is. But, effectively, to become the biggest survivalist or survivor community in the world. And it very well will be. It will be, let's look at the aftermath after whatever events may happen. You got to survive the event. You got to survive the aftermath. This is going to be an excellent place for that. And then you want to restart. So this is a wonderful place to restart. We're off grid, we're high, we're dry, we're away from all the known risks, from nuclear sites to fault lines and oceans and tsunamis and so on. This is one of the best places in North America. In fact, the strip from here down through Kansas.
They're under dirt, but they're not 20 feet underground. So worst case scenario, you need to leave your bunker. You can't. It's not like you can't get out. You know what I mean? Unless there's 50 feet of ice that's covered your bunker, and then you can just pull out a torch and then use your laser beams out of your eyeballs to open them up. I'm just saying.
Yeah. if we were about to be covered in ice, it's going to be a gradual thing. So, we adjust, and we may have to migrate. If there's a pole shift, predictions are we'll be closer to the equator, not further. So hopefully we'll get into a warmer climate. But, for those that think, oh my God, that's going to be their cave, is they're going to be their grave, those expressions, I just ask them, really, well, so what's it going to be like, as you just said, Rex, for you? What's your plan? Oh, I'm going to stay in my house and watch it all happen on the internet. And I've got some beer, and I got my teeth. They're sitting on the counter right there, by the way. And, all I can say is I wish them luck. Let me know how it works out for you. Don't begrudge the people that have a solution, especially when you've had the opportunity to take advantage of the solution. It's right here. But yeah, anybody that worries about being in a bunker, understand something. If we're in a bunker and the door is sealed, and we're in lockdown, it's because we have to be. It's not because we want to be. It's because whatever's happening out on the surface outside the bunker or bunkers is an extinction level or whatever atmosphere or change that we cannot survive outside. We're not looking forward to sealing the doors, and that door won't be sealed until the last minute. So, if you think poor us, or I would never want to be underground or in a bunker with people I don't know, good luck. Let me know how it works out with people on the surface that you don't know, that will be knocking on your door, whether you be in Austin with a multi-million-dollar home or in the inner city, wherever you are. There's going to be a mass extinction. It's coming. And every source I have, every insider that I have connection with, including the government, they know it. They know it's coming. Now, others don't want to believe it. That's fine. It's not a matter of, if you don't believe, it's not going to happen, or I don't want to hear about it. I want to put my fingers in my ear or my head in the sand. You can do all that. But it's not going to change reality. It's whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing Trump or anybody's going to be able to do to stop it. We're not talking about man-made events, although we may see some very devastating events, everything from nuclear to economic collapse to complete anarchy, maybe another civil war. Those are all good reasons to come here as well. But what we're really all about is the coming earth changes. You mentioned the volcanoes and the continent shifts and so on. Where do you think all that's coming from? It's not coming from global warming, and it's not coming from the Washington or the White House. It's coming from deep inside this earth. So either the earth is rumbling, and as you say, we've slowed down. My opinion of what is going to cause those quakes is think of the earth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear Elite Project, how the heck are you? What are you doing to prepare for the end of the world as we know it? I've got Robert Vicino from Terra Vivos in South Dakota X Point. I have to hit the mute button here. Otherwise, you're going to get some echo. So stand by. Here we go. All right. Literally on scene, South Dakota right now. We have an opportunity to speak with Robert. I would say he's somewhat of an expert in survival situations and preparing for cataclysms, cataclysmic events. Now, recently, I shared with you an article where Roger Billum and Rebecca Bendick, they're both from the University of Colorado, the University of Montana, and they said back in 2011, the Earth slowed down. Now, even though it was just a little bit, the amount of events that we might see around this time frame are quite severe. And I think that there's a lot of birthing pains right now that are showing that after 5 to 6 years after the Earth slows down a little bit, we could be headed for major earthquakes. And we've already seen major hurricanes this year. So who knows what the world will bring to us here next month, next week, tomorrow. But it's always good, in my opinion, to have somewhat of a plan B. So we're going to talk to Robert and see what's going on out there in South Dakota. Robert, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. Sitting up here on top of a mountain, overlooking, 800 or so bunkers. The sun is setting. I just had to put up a shield to cover my eyes from the sun. Temperature, it's winter here in South Dakota, you know, and the temperature is about 70, 75 degrees, clear blue, no wind, zero wind. It's like super comfortable. And yet it was freezing just a few days ago. So I got here on Friday night and the weather changed. It's amazing. Every time I come here, the weather gets nice. So I'll be here for about a week.
It ain't cold when I went out there. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
I was like, man.
You know, it's you, Rex. It's not the weather. So anyway, so I'm sitting up here. It's really kind of enjoyable, and you're on my visor, believe it or not, through an Android phone. We got the technology, man. We're hooked up. So it's pretty cool to sit up here. The reason I'm on top of the hill is the phone cell reception's better up here. So I feel like Woody Harrelson in that final shot. You know, I'm reporting from Yellowstone. It's amazing. If you could only be here to watch it. Anyways, so if during this conversation anything happens over there in Texas or wherever else your audience may be, just let it be known that I'm here and I'm safe and you're not. Ha.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. I was actually doing some research, and literally a month after the Hurricane Harvey devastated Houston, there was still 60,000 people with nowhere to go. 60,000. 136,000 houses were damaged and structures damaged from that one hurricane. And then I just typed in Puerto Rico power update, and 3.4 million residents approximately without power. 3 out of 4 residents still don't have power. No, I'm sorry. 4 out of 5 Puerto Ricans are still without power. Business Insider. I looked up Hurricane Katrina. 400,000 people were misplaced from Hurricane Katrina. And it's a bad idea to be prepared. You're a conspiracy theorist if you're thinking about preparing for a cataclysmic event. You know, I mean, how dare you do that? But definitely have insurance for everything else, but don't have a survival plan, because that makes you a conspiracy theorist.
Well, also, they don't want you to survive. You know, there are those that are powers that be that want the population to be thinned, you know, and they're not making any secret of it. You know, Ted Turner said 300,000 or 300 million people would be the right balance for the planet. Others have said 500 million. So, you know, who knows? There is going to be a cleansing process. You know, as the earth has done before, for whatever reason, we're going to go through another cycle here. And many believe that's going to happen soon.
What do you believe?
I believe it is. I've believed since 1982, when I got an inspiration that I needed to build shelters for thousands of people to survive a upcoming extinction level event. And that was, 35 years ago or something. So I was given this inspiration and I guess the burden to do it. And I've now done it. And, you know, those people you mentioned down in Puerto Rico, or even still in Houston, we can accommodate about 10 to 12,000 of those people right here, right now. Okay. Each bunker is not built out, but each bunker is sitting here and available. So, but they're gradually getting built out. And that's why I'm up here, in fact. But I'm here with several producers. We're doing several documentaries at the same time. One for, I don't even want to tell you the network yet, but another for Swiss television, another for the #1 show in Germany, and so on. So, every time I come here, we have a backlog of media that have been begging to get a tour and have an opportunity to interview and so on. So, in fact, this is the first break I've had to get away from them. They tend to be a little bit monopolizing of your time. In fact, this is about the 10th day of filming, maybe the 11th or 12th. They started back in early October. So, it's all good, but I'm not in the documentary business, and nor the television or the movie business. I'm in the build shelter business, and I don't mind them tagging along and being on my shoulder. Just don't delay the process, if you will.
Also, I mean, you talk to people from all over the world, Robert. So what is the mindset like in Germany and, people you talk to from Switzerland, et cetera? I think you had some people last time I was out there at the X-Fest event that were from Japan, and they seemed very intelligent and they knew what they were talking about as well.
It's global at this point. Just a couple of days ago, I had a guy begging from China to come to China and build a massive, Vivos complex. We are in the midst of building one in South Korea, at the tip of South Korea. We have Germany. The Germans are very concerned right now. The Japanese are. We had a film crew here about 3 or 4 weeks ago from Japan. Very ironic, though. They asked, why was this base here? Who built it? What were all these bunkers originally built for? And so I had to tell them, well, during World War II, they built bombs here and they stored them here.